All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack what is, frankly, one of the most stunning 11-minute stretches in World Cup history. We are looking at a round of 16 clash that totally defied logic, broke hearts, and gave us a script so unbelievable that, as the analysts pointed out, if you pitch this to Hollywood, they'd literally laugh you out of the room for being too unrealistic. So here is the complete anatomy of Argentina's absolutely breathless 3-2 comeback against Egypt.
Because for 75 minutes, Egypt seemed to have actually solved the impossible puzzle. How do you stop the greatest of all time? They were incredibly disciplined, super organized, and they were deeply, deeply frustrating a side that everyone expected to just steamroll them. So today we're going to unpack exactly how Egypt executed this seemingly flawless plan and the terrifying sequence of events they accidentally triggered by doing it so well.
0-2. It's a massive punch to the gut for any team, let alone the heavy tournament favorites. Egypt had established a commanding lead, and a huge part of that was thanks to their goalkeeper, Shabir. He was literally standing on his head to deny Argentina time and time again. For anyone watching at home, a monumental upset didn't just feel possible, it felt absolutely certain.
Section 1. The unthinkable happens.
Because the script was completely flipped. Egypt sets up this perfectly disciplined defensive block. Then, Yasser Ibrahim rises up for a brilliant 15th-minute header, and a bit later, Zico strikes to double the advantage. But the real shocker? The moment that made everyone gasp? A 39-year-old Lionel Messi steps up for a penalty, and it's saved. His second miss of the entire tournament. Argentina wasn't just losing at this point, they were completely unraveling.
Part 2. Waking the Beast.
The ESPN broadcast brought in two men who know Messi better than almost anyone on the planet, Thierry Henry and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And Henry pointed out something absolutely chilling. He noted that when the pressure reached a complete boiling point, Messi's entire demeanor shifted. Henry said, "Look at his eyes," and he switches. It wasn't panic. No, it was a terrifying, hyper-focused resolve. And what's super interesting is that Zlatan Ibrahimovic confirmed this exact same phenomenon. He noted that right at 2-0 down, Messi went on an absolute mission. He just flat out refused to let his team be eliminated. Zlatan's words were perfectly blunt, as always. He said he switched gear, he became an animal, and nobody could catch him.
And it turns out poking the bear has some serious historical precedent. Henry shared this incredible anecdote from their old training ground days. So Messi was denied a foul by a coach during a scrimmage. But instead of complaining, his eyes just switched. Driven by sheer anger, he demanded the ball, dribbled straight through his own teammates, and scored 3 consecutive goals just to tell the coach, next time, call a foul. Anger is literally his ultimate fuel, and Egypt had just woken the beast.
Section 3. The tactical takeover.
So Messi didn't just wait around for the game to come to him, he completely shifted from a forward waiting for service into a proactive, commanding playmaker. He drops deep into the midfield, physically demanding the ball from his teammates, then he initiates these aggressive, weaving dribbles right into the absolute teeth of the Egyptian defense, dragging multiple defenders with him every single time. By dictating the tempo, he systematically began to break down those defensive lines that had frustrated Argentina for 75 minutes. He basically dragged his team forward by sheer force of will.
And this tactical shift triggered a rapid-fire 11-minute Hollywood blitz. In the 79th minute, Cristian Romero scores a vital header from a deep cross to cut the lead. Just 4 minutes later, it's Messi himself burying the equalizer through incredibly heavy traffic. And then, deep into stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez heads in the ultimate game winner. Boom. A 2-0 deficit, totally erased in the blink of an eye.
I just want to pause on this for a second. 8. That equalizer was Lionel Messi's 8th goal of this tournament. And remember, he is 39 years old. The pundits on the panel were in absolute disbelief, noting that this level of output at his age defies biology and logic altogether. He is still, quite literally, dictating the outcomes of the biggest matches on the planet.
Part 4. The VAR controversy. Now, impartially speaking, the pundits were highly divided over the application of VAR during 2 very critical moments. Let's compare them. Earlier in the match, Egypt actually scored a goal that was ultimately disallowed. Why? Well, the referee pulled it way back into the build-up phase, determining that Argentina's Lisandro Martinez had his foot trodden on. It was a very strict application of the rules. Conversely, right before Argentina's stoppage time winning goal, Mohamed Salah appeared to be fouled in the build-up. However, VAR did not intervene there, and the winning goal was allowed to stand.
The panel, including several former players and analysts, debated this fiercely. Some argued that calling the play all the way back for the Martinez foul opened a Pandora's box that simply wasn't equally applied when Salah went down. Others maintained that the calls were technically justifiable within the flow of the game. We aren't here to pick a side, but this question remains a massive talking point. Does refereeing subconsciously favor the momentum of a legacy team, or is it just the harsh, inconsistent reality of technology in football? It's definitely a question viewers will be debating for years.
Section 5. Tears of a Champion. Analyst Colin Udo perfectly summarized Messi's role, referring to him simply as a cheat code. Shaka Hislop completely echoed this, suggesting that without Messi, this current Argentina side is, well, actually quite average. But when you drop a 39-year-old genius into the mix, someone who demands the attention of the entire opposing defense every second he has the ball, it elevates an otherwise fallible squad right back into World Cup contention. He is the ultimate equalizer.
And honestly, those flaws are very real. The ESPN panel warned that despite this heroic victory, Argentina is in serious danger against stronger opposition. Lisandro Martinez really struggled physically on set pieces, which by the way led directly to Egypt's opening goal. Enzo Fernandez was getting beaten one-on-one inside the box. Add in a highly narrow midfield that really lacks wide defensive security, plus a real naivety in managing late-game momentum, and you have a highly vulnerable squad.
Which brings us right back to the captain. After the final whistle, Messi was weeping uncontrollably on the pitch. As the panel discussed, why would a man who has already won the World Cup, numerous Ballon d'Ors, and literally every trophy imaginable be crying like this after a round of 16 match? It's because he knows exactly how close they came to the absolute edge. He is hungry. He wants more. He feels the immense pressure of carrying this imperfect team, and the relief of just surviving that scare was entirely overwhelming.
And that leaves us with one massive, lingering question as we look toward the quarterfinals. We know the beast is awake. We know he refuses to lose. But is one man's sheer willpower and undeniable genius actually enough to paper over the fatal defensive flaws of his team against the absolute best in the world? Or will the magic eventually run out? Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown. I highly recommend keeping a really close eye on Argentina's tactical setup in their next match, because you definitely won't want to miss it.